Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Cumlin. I am the manager of the Student Technology Center here at Loyola. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about computers and technology on campus. I will then have Ryan Lees speaking to you from a bookstore to let you know what services they provide. And finally, Megan Rowe from Student Life will tell you a little bit about living on campus, what the dorms are like, etc. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, we do have cable TV in the doors. It's actually direct TV, but if you have a television, essentially you just need to bring some sort of coaxial cable or normal cable for cable TV. If it's a tube TV, you may need to get a converter box, but these would be televisions that are probably 7 or plus years older now that may not work. If that is the case, you can stop in to my office and we can let you know what they need to get it set up. Also, we do have wireless connections in all the dorm rooms, as well as a wired connection. So there is what we have, it's called port per pillow. So essentially, for every student, there's somewhere that they can plug into. It's a good idea to bring along an Ethernet cable, just in case the wireless does go down. Some of the wireless points are in a hallway. If somebody decides to jump up and smack it off the wall, wireless might go down for a little while, but the wired connection will still be working, so it's just a good backup. Also, because the students aren't really sure where that port is going to be in relation to their bedroom, you might want to get a 25 or a 50-foot cable, so they don't have to run it, across the floor. They can wrap it around some beds. And yeah, those are available at the bookstore. Also, students basically will have to install something called Safe Connect, which is basically our firewall. We don't really monitor like where the students are going or what they're looking at, but they will log into the network. Essentially, if they get a virus and it's trying to spread it to other students, we just look up their username from where they logged in, so we can contact them and let them know they have an issue and to bring it into us. One other thing to mention, a lot of students are used to at home possibly illegally downloading either music, movies, that sort of thing through something called torrents. Loyola actually blocks all torrents. That is for the protection of the students. If the students are exceptionally crafty, they might be able to work their way around it. That is a rarity. However, if we get a notification, and we do get them from HBO or NBC saying, this computer downloaded this file at this time, we do need to turn that student's information over to the companies. So Loyola is not a shelter to them. We will point to what computer was logged on at that time. And again, that's part of the Safe Connect program. What we do at the Student Technology Center, I basically repair student computers. We do not charge a fee for those services. The only thing we do charge a slight fee for is if we have to completely reinstall the operating system and back up all their files and reinstall all their programs. We charge a $25 fee, and in all actuality, unless we're super busy or something, we actually end up normally waiving that as well. But the one thing we do not do is hardware repairs. So if their roommate drops their computer and breaks their screen, you're going to need to contact the manufacturer, whether that's Sony, Dell, whatever it may be. We will help them with some other things. With computers, the most common question I get is, what sort of computer should I bring? It honestly is up to the student, and it might also slightly be identified by major. If they're going to be a communications major, possibly doing a lot of digital photography, that sort of thing, you might want to go with a Mac. They're just a little bit better suited for that. However, for business students, I normally say when they graduate and they get into the quote-unquote real world, they're going to see probably PCs or IBMs in the offices that they're working. So they can still have a Mac. It's not going to bother anything. Students, whatever they choose, they'll be able to do whatever they need to do here with whatever device they decide to go with. Obviously, Macs honestly are on a little bit on the expensive side, so you are going to pay a little bit more of a premium for a Macintosh. I can tell you, Macs can get viruses. They can get spyware. The reason they didn't before is essentially PC was 90% of the market, so if you're going to write a virus and you want to infect a lot of people, you're going to target PC. As Macs are starting to take up more of that share, more bad things are being programmed for Macs. We do have educational discount with Apple. If you go to loyola.edu/Apple Store, the student will actually need to log in using their student ID and their password for all our systems. We have a deal with Lenovo, formerly IBM, as well at lenovo.com/Loyola. And if you contact Sprint, actually they will give Loyola students a 10% discount on cell phones. So if a student doesn't have a cell phone or you're looking to change plans, you can get a slight discount as well. The items that I take care of, like I said, we do virus removal, we do malware. If some student is having a problem on their computer, it just seems to be running slower than it used to. They can drop it off with us, we'll take a look at it for free, they can go to class, we'll work on it, and then later in the day they can come back and pick it up. If they do have something happen that is going to be a day or two to fix, we do have loaner laptops available, so we'll actually provide them with a laptop to use while we're working on their computer. We do also restore deleted files. We've had lots of students come in tears saying they were working on their 20-page paper and at 3 o'clock last night it disappeared. We do have some success with getting that back. We can't always get it back, but if they're in a crisis, it doesn't hurt to stop by and let's at least take a look at it for them. The other services we provide, we can set up email on cell phones. We'll actually, there's, I guess, kind of like a fair tomorrow afternoon from like 12 to 1:30 with a bunch of tables. I will be at that fair. If the student wants to stop by with their cell phone, we can actually put their email on their cell phone before they leave. If they don't have a chance to get it done, if they want to come back, we can take a look at it. There's also instructions for that on our website as well. We can help them if they're having problems getting connected to the internet when they get here. We can help them with that. And we also, if they come in with a question, I need to insert a YouTube video and a PowerPoint presentation, I don't know how to do it. We'll assist them with that. If they're writing, designing a website for presentation, we can't do the work for them. We let them know that if it's an assignment, but we can help them with little things. And the last thing is some items that you should bring with you. You might want to bring a power strip or two. There's a couple plugs in the dorm rooms, but they're going to have an alarm clock and a hair dryer and a computer and a cell phone charger. You're going to run out of plugs. So you might want to bring 1 or 2 of those along. I already mentioned the coax cable and the Ethernet cable. Students will need to have some sort of antivirus on their computer as well. And we do provide semantic antivirus for the students, and that is free for the duration that they are here. So unless you're, particularly tied to McAfee or something like that, you can save about $400 by using the school's antivirus. And the last thing we just want to point out, students will get a student email account through Office 365. They need to make sure that they check that on a regular basis. Assignments, notes from the school, whatever, billing stuff will probably go to that email address. So they need to make sure that they are familiar with that email address. And again, I will be at a table tomorrow. I'll have a pamphlet with all this information if you want to stop by and just pick it up. It has all the links on it. And at this point, I will go ahead and invite Ryan up on to talk to you.
All right, hello everyone, I'm Ryan Leese. I'm the textbook manager at the bookstore here. I'm just going to give you a little quick brief introduction about the bookstore. I'll be able to answer questions later today, but also tomorrow at the fair we'll be out there with the table set up to answer any more questions you may have. This is just a quick little briefing here. Just for general purposes, we are more than just selling textbooks and school supplies. I mean, we have one very large supply of school spirit items, as well as any supplies you may need for your room. Mainly like coaxial cables you mentioned, Ethernet cables, power strips, even a USB cable to connect your computer to a printer, we have them all in stock. So if you forget a cable, you need something, just come out of the bookstore, we'll help you get those products. As well as, since we are a Barnes & Noble bookstore, we also have a great selection of trade books. So if you guys are interested in books, your students are, we have them here, we can special order them. We have many sections like religion, general fiction, travel, but also the bestseller lists. I mean, there's always everyone reads how there's a the bestseller of a book. We cover the campus side, so what's been sold across the country at all the different campuses and universities, top 10 are on our bookstore shelves, all right? But the one thing I want to focus on is the textbooks, because this is what everyone always asks me about. Why are they so expensive? Why do I have to pay so much money? Can I save money in some ways or another? Being a textbook manager, I see how prices of textbooks go up every year. And trust me, I do not like seeing the prices of those go up either, because we have to pay to get those books in the first place. But we do offer ways for you guys to save money. First thing is we all know about is the used books. We are working to get the most used books in the store as we can to save you 25% off that price. The next thing we do offer is digital books. Now, this is more of what there are programs called Nook Study. It doesn't actually work on Nooks, it doesn't work on Kindles or tablets. It's made just for PCs, like computers and Macs. We haven't quite gotten to the tablet format yet. We've been working a long time on that. They're having trouble with it and working on deals to get it on there. But for right now, though, there is a digital version of textbooks, and it can save you up to 60%, you see it there. Now, it varies upon the publisher, because they could say they want to do this price, or we can actually put it down to like 60% of the price. But it is there available for digital purposes. But the biggest thing I want to talk about is renting. This is the most popular option that students always want to try and ask. Can we rent a textbook? Can I rent a textbook? In most cases, yes. And you can save up to 51% off the new price. Now, what renting involves is just a couple of things. One, you borrow the book from us. So we do need to have it back by the end of the semester. That's the last day of finals. That's our deadline. We state it the moment you pick up the book, we say you need it back by this date. Keep in good condition. You're allowed to use the book. They're allowed to write, highlight, and take notes. We do not like restrictors. So as long as it's not like heavily written in, we'll take it back, no problem. Keep it in good condition, bring it back by the deadline, no fees are charged. If you fail to bring it back by the deadline or damage it too much, then we have to charge the credit card we keep on file. That's the last point there. We keep a credit card on file for security purposes. Because if it's damaged, or if we don't bring it back to us, we have to replace that book. It costs us money to bring it in. We have to get money back to replace that book. So that's why we have to take a credit card on file. Otherwise, if they use the book and bring it back, we save them half the price of the book. To show you what saving books can do, we have over 641 different titles. Now, I can adopt over 3,000 different titles in a semester. 641 were available for rent. I know we can't do all of them. Unfortunately, some books like packages or custom books, we can't really rent because we don't know if we're going to use them again. Or if they have pieces like an access code. Because some books require access codes to do homework online. We can't really take an access code back and sell it to another student because it's already been used and been used once. But still though, we saved those students a lot of money because by renting 641 titles, over 6,000 books were rented to students. And in 1 year, with both rental and new, we saved students as a whole $478,000. We saved only $414,000 last year in the previous fiscal year, but we're saving students money the best we can. I know prices are not cheap, but this is your one option here. And coming in about July, there's going to be a new option for saving more money. Unfortunately, we have to check back for that later. We haven't really gotten all the details worked out on that. The biggest thing then too is like, how do I get the books? Well, we work with the professors and the departments to make sure we have the correct books on the shelves the moment you guys walk on campus. And what you can do then to make sure you have the right books is to go on our websites. You can purchase them online, just look at your books there. When we purchase them online, you can do a couple of things. One, you can pay for the, you can pay to have it shipped to any location, to your house if you wish to. If you want to order them ahead of time and have them before the semester begins, just say you want to ship to your house, we'll ship them out there. Standard shipping is 3 to 5 days. You have the next day, you have 2 days. All right? Any one of those shipping options. Or if you just want to have the books ready for them to pick up, we have what's called an in-store pickup. That way they're boxed, they're held aside, and they're stay in the bookstore until their $100 has to pick them up. Be the first day of class, be during the first week of class. After the first month, we start sending emails asking, are you going to pick your books? Your books? Your books? Sometimes it takes about 3 times to get them to pick them up, but we work with the students. So, one thing, there's a website, simple as easy, loyola.edu/bookstore. Go right on there. There's a link at the top of the page that says textbooks. You click on that, you can search all the courses and your student can figure out if it's what's required, what's optional, and all the pricing for rentals, ebooks to purchase in the book. And then, of course, we accept any type of option. We accept any form of payments. All major credit cards. We do work with PayPal nowadays on our services, as well as Evergreen. If you put money in the Evergreen account to pay for the books, or if they have student financial aid, have them transfer the financial aid for textbooks to their Evergreen account. We cannot charge financial aid directly. We just don't have the ability to communicate with the campus on that. But we can charge Evergreen accounts. Because it provides a student ID number, and we can charge the Evergreen account. The books are paid for however we may want to. Because we're a Barnes & Noble store, we do also accept Barnes & Noble gift cards. I'll tell you this, one time I was working at a different college bookstore before this one. A student came in with a stack of gift cards about that thick, paid for 2 semesters at least of their textbooks. Graduation gift from high school. Beautiful idea. Try to tell your parent, if you got kids in high school, tell them just get gift cards for it, pay for all your textbooks. But lastly, there's our contact information if you need to reach us. Bookstore.loyola.edu is our general account. We check that almost all the time. The SM is our store manager account for James Johnson, as well as our phone number right there. That's you can reach me or anyone else through that phone number. And if you keep up to likes on Facebook, we can keep up to date with anything specials going on, with deals, contests, and anything Barnes & Noble, but also Loyola bookstore-wise. Again, I'll be available here after the session, but also at the fair tomorrow. So if you have any more questions, if you need further explanations, I'll be glad to answer all the questions in that. All right? As for now, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello everyone, how's everybody doing? Excellent. I know it's that time in the afternoon when that cookie that you had at lunch is starting to set in, and it's brutal. So I'll try and keep this very exciting. All right, so I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Megan Rowe. I'm an Associate Director in the Office of Student Life, and I do housing operations. So all the heads and beds, and I'll be meeting all of your students tonight and giving them a lot of information about housing. Our office does a number of things. We actually support students in 3 different ways. The Office of Student Life is responsible for community building within the halls. So that would be through our resident assistants, through a lot of different programs and initiatives that we run to keep your sons and daughters very busy. We do obviously housing, and then we do student conduct, but I know that none of your children are going to come through the student conduct process, so we're good to go on that. So the Office of Student Life does provide a number of things to students in terms of our student staff. We have RAs on every single floor. There are also graduate residence coordinators, and they are master's level students that actually live in the halls and are responsible for the RAs as well as emergency response. We also have assistant directors who are master's level students or master's level professionals that are full-time that also live in the halls, and they are all on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's always going to be somebody there to make sure that your sons and daughters are safe. So part of what we do is we do a lot of educational and social programs. Last year, our statistics told us that most students attended our programs, and most students really got something out of those programs. The programs that we do are certainly oftentimes social, to get students out of their room, get them to mix with other students, and get them to know the folks that are around them. But we also try and sneak in some educational stuff in there as well. And not just educational like you learn in the classroom, but I like to call it life education. Like, here's the laundry room. Here's maybe how you put soap in there. These things that maybe they hadn't quite grasped as you are sending them off. We're going to try and help them out with that. We support students' health and safety. Part of the way that we do that is we do room inspections. And so you can tell your sons and daughters that they're not out of the way yet, in that they do need to keep their room somewhat clean. It does not have to be spick and span, although I would love that. But they do need to keep it clean enough so that they and their roommates can all live a healthy lifestyle, and the rooms around them can as well. And so things like that include taking out the trash, making sure that there's not food that's sitting there, once in a while vacuuming, doing laundry, all of these things. We challenge students to grow holistically. So truly we are looking at students, and we know that the reason that students come to Loyola is to get a great education. And we know that they do that. But another reason that you're probably sending them is so that they don't maybe after the 4 years come back and live with you. Maybe you want them to, and that's great. But we want to be able to prepare them holistically so when they are out on their own that they have the skills and tools to be able to do that. And part of the way that we do that is we encourage students to develop meaningful relationships. So we work a lot with them, and I'm going to talk to the students tonight about the first steps in building those relationships and the importance in communication within that. We set standards for the community and encourage all members to hold one another accountable. So when students come in the fall, they will be given a book called the Community Standards. It outlines all of our expectations for students, as well as if students decide that they are going to break a code, then it does go through what the potential sanctions and that would be. But again, I know. Session 1, we're good to go on that. We also celebrate diversity. We do a number of programs along with a number of offices on campus to celebrate diversity and to make sure that each and every one of the students that comes here feels included. And we also encourage students to use discernment in their daily lives. Discernment is one of those Jesuit words that you will hear thrown around. Truly though, when I'm talking with students and they are coming into my office with maybe a problem, I'm not going to answer that question for them or solve that problem for them. I'm hopefully going to ask them the right questions so that they start to think about it and can solve it themselves. And the first time that may take a little time, and I may have to ask a lot of questions. But the purpose behind that is so again, in 4 years, they don't have to continue to come back to you to get that. And so that's also, we ask you as parents and families to definitely utilize that opportunity if your son or daughter says, Mom, Dad, how do I do this? Is to really look and say, okay, what do you think? Let me start that conversation. Let me ask you what you think and how you would try and do that. Because that's what they're going to get from me. Oftentimes they're like, I'm going to call my mom. I'm like, ha, talk to your mom already. They're going to do the same thing. All right, so some common concerns for parents that I wanted to address. Transition issues and homesickness. Almost all of our students feel this, and that is because they're coming from great places, and they really do miss you. They're going to tell you they don't, but they really do miss you. We do a lot, especially on that first weekend, to keep students out of their room as much as possible. So literally when they get back, they don't even have time to think about how they might miss you because they're going to be exhausted. And then they're going to fall asleep and we're going to wake up the next day and do the same thing over again. So we really keep them running hard until classes start. And then once those classes start, that's when it really starts to, they get into that schedule. We really do encourage folks if students are calling home and saying, I'm homesick, I miss you guys. It seems like everyone around me isn't homesick and they're all happy. You can remind them that most students feel this way. And that would be a really good opportunity for them to connect with one of the staff members that we have on the hall, because they will help connect them to different resources and also help them connect to other students that are feeling the exact same way. Roommate differences and conflicts. Yes, unfortunately, there are roommate conflicts. This happens when you put two 17 to 22-year-olds in a room together. And we have great rooms. They are much bigger than most colleges. But when you put two people together, whoever they are, even if they're the best of friends, there are going to be conflicts. My encouragement for you is on that ride home to have a conversation about what are the expectations that your children have of what their roommate's going to do. And check some of those, because I think you'll probably be surprised at what they think, how they think their roommate should act, but talk about some of that, and also talk about the importance of communication. I can't tell you the number of times where I've had students come into my office and say, it is done, I cannot deal with this person anymore, they have to move out. And I said, okay, well, how did the conversation you had with them go? Oh, I didn't talk to them. I mean, we tweeted about it, and that was bad, and then I sent them an email. But we haven't even talked about it. That's the important step, is that first step of communication and talking about it. Before that, we hope that there are expectations, clear expectations that are set up. And our staff actually goes ahead and helps with that. They help set up meetings with students where they'll do a roommate agreement and they'll sit down and they'll talk about what's okay in the room and what's not. But it's really important too that the students really start to understand that communication is the key to a healthy roommate relationship. There's nothing, we already talked about cleaning room inspections, there's nothing to do here syndrome. There's a lot to do. There's a ton to do. When the students get back in the fall, every single thing on campus that is concrete will be covered in paper. And those papers will be flyers of stuff to do. All of the digital signage that have beautiful pictures right now of campus and different events, those will have things scrolling through about all these different pieces to do. Every single day, your son or daughter will get Newshound, which highlights a number of activities that happen every day. So when they say that there's nothing to do, I encourage you to tell them, Megan said that there was. So maybe you should, talk to your roommate, talk to an RA, figure out other things, because likely they may just not know where to find it, or they may not necessarily feel connected to the things that are happening. And that's really where we step in. We're able to connect students to things that they're interested in. Decision making. I know that each of you have helped your son or daughter make really good decisions along the way, and that's awesome. We really want them to continue to make good decisions. we talk with students, we try and give them an outline of what our expectations are, and also when they're heading towards maybe something that's not the best decision, trying to steer them towards the right decision. But students are going to make decisions, they are adults and they get to do that. That's also part of learning. And so we will have conversations with students as much as we can. If you are ever concerned about a decision that your son or daughter has made, I want you to definitely reach out to our office, have that conversation with your student, but know that we've also had those conversations. And so we can oftentimes help you if you are concerned. And then finally, safety. We are in the city of Baltimore. We live on a beautiful campus, but it is a city. And so sometimes we have to remind students that this is a city. And so you have to be smart when you're walking anywhere. And you have to be smart, especially if you are going to leave campus, that it's not the bubble that sometimes you can feel on campus. And so we just really encourage students to be aware of their surroundings. Many of you are going to hear from Tim Fox, our Director of Public Safety, about all of the different safety functions that are here on campus, but know that our top priority is to keep students safe. Part of that, though, is that the students have to work on that. So reminding students that it's a good idea not just to lock your door when you go to sleep, but to close your door when you go to sleep. I know, they feel so connected to home, it's like their bedroom door and they leave it open. Not necessarily the best idea. So you can encourage them to now close their bedroom door when they go home. It'll be a good reminder for them to get used to doing that when they get here. All right, so housing options. I want to walk you through the housing options that your students are going to be learning about tonight and are going to have the option to select tomorrow. So all first-year students are guaranteed housing. First-year students live on both the east side of campus, which is Flannery O'Connor, Butler, and Hammerman, as well as the west side of campus in Hopkins, Lang Court, and Campion. So really it's a 50-50 mix. It really is 50-50. I do the numbers, I'm really not lying. I feel like in the past, students have felt like if I'm on this side of campus, I'm with all the first year students. If I'm on this side of campus, I'm not. Truly, it's 50-50. So they are with half of their class. And students aren't going to select a specific room tomorrow. They're not going to select a specific building. They're going to select a style of housing. And so I'll go through the three styles of housing that they will have options to select. The first is doubles, so this is a traditional double style. These layouts are also available on our website, so I know it may be somewhat hard to see all parts of this, but when students get their room assignment, they will be able to go on and see samples of what rooms could look like. We do not have every single room mapped out for safety reasons, but this gives you the general layout. Also, new to orientation this year is that from 7 to 10 p.m. tonight, there will actually be an open house for some different styles of housing. So we'll have 2 areas that have doubles, and we'll also have the suites that are available for tours. At the suite way to end the night, I always mess up whatever that is, dessert. After dinner tonight, there'll be bright green flyers that will have a map on them so you can see where the halls are that we're showing. Within doubles, this would be 2 people within a room. Doubles have a shared bath down the hall. That shared bath is cleaned by our facilities staff every day, and generally students will share a bathroom with anywhere from 4 to 10 students. Okay, apartments. Apartments are located in Campion Tower. So these apartments are for 4 or 6 students total. They're full apartments like you would find in an apartment complex. So they have a living room, a dining room, a full kitchen. A kitchen with an oven that cooks things and heats them very hot. So if you put your sneakers in there, it will heat them to a very hot temperature before they start on fire. Please, if they're living in Campion, tell them not to put their sneakers in the oven. They will catch on fire. Suites are similar to apartments. The difference is that suites are only for 4 people. You would have a bedroom, bathroom that is within the suite, as well as a kitchen and a small dining area. So it has a dining table. It doesn't have a full-size living room. That's the differentiation between suites and apartments. Within suites and apartments, those students are responsible for cleaning within there. So no one's going to come in and clean the bathroom or the kitchen or do their dishes. All of those are within the student's responsibility. All of our housing for first-year students is the same price. We don't want first-year students to be making a decision about where they truly want to live and what kind of community they want to be in based off of price. And so all first-year housing, doesn't matter where they are, is all the same price. So how are roommates matched? I get asked this question a lot. Last year we had about 30% of our students that selected their own roommate. So came in knowing their roommate, or on one of the 2 days that they're here, met the roommate of their dreams, fell in love, and selected each other. For those students that, so a majority of the students didn't do that. So I know I've already gotten some calls from parents. It seems like everybody has a roommate already. That's really not true. Statistics tell us 70% don't. For those 70% that don't, we do have a roommate matching process. All students are going to fill out the roommate matching process in case when they go home they realize it wasn't love at first sight and they want to go through the roommate matching process that we do. So all students are going to go ahead and fill out a questionnaire. It's really to gain some information, and we use that information to best match those students. So they're going to answer a number of questions. We do encourage them to be honest. So when the question is, how neat and clean do you like to keep your room? This is not, how neat and clean do I want my roommate to be, because if they're neat, then I'll be neat, because they'll clean up after me. No. That's not a good way to start off roommate relationships. So we really encourage students to answer honestly. It's okay if they're messy. It's all right. We just need them to tell us so that we don't put them with a super neat person, because that will not work out well. So we ask a number of questions tomorrow. They're going to go ahead and fill those out, and then the computer system will actually go ahead and find them the best statistical match possible. So after that, what's next? Students will receive their housing assignments late July, early August. Within that housing assignment, it will be sent out via Loyola email, as all correspondence is. It will have the name or names of all